What is going on, guys? Today we are going to be looking at the best defenders in FIFA 23, and as you can see from the tier list actual sections, we've got a new tier which is going to be an S+. That is going to be specifically for one position per card. So for instance, with the defenders, left back, right back, and we can have two centre backs, maybe three, because obviously some people play 5 back, and there is obviously 3 backs as well, which would just include centre backs. This is going to be one card, what I consider the best centre backs in the game, as to be honest, we're getting a lot of S tier now, and it's why I've got rid of B, because literally they may be fodder, but in terms of playing, I feel like everybody in this list could be in a team. They may not be the best, but they're definitely at a level now where you could put them in the team and they'd get you something. They wouldn't necessarily be a gold Trent Alexander-Arnold. You're not going to use them at right back, mostly even at the start of the year. So let's jump straight into it and let's have a look then. So starting off, we have got our man Aki. I must admit, I've done this on the actual tier list website rather than how I used to do it. Just an old habit, to be honest, so it might be a big tier list, but let's get into it. So Aki, for one, A+ for me. Quite an easy one. We will drum through quite a few of these because we have got a hell of a lot to get through. Alaba, nice card, obviously an upgraded version of his UCL, A+ as well. Trent for me, again, another one that is a nice card, but most definitely been overturned now with a lot of good right backs, so I'm going to go into the A+. Arejo, I think, was a great SBC during Team of the Season. Very easy to have got completed in that community one. Obviously, one of the better centre-backs from that period until, obviously, the next 3 weeks go. But I still think he's absolutely sensational there. We then have Bamba in the new Shapeshifters. Obviously, Team 1 for the objective of completing 50 of this, the Shapeshifter Challenge upgrade. Again, nice card that you could get right there. I was a little bit disappointed with his positioning, going from a right mid to a right back. Would have loved a centre mid version. Would have loved even a centre back version. Something totally different. A lean body centre back might have been interesting. But obviously, you could say that about anybody. I'd like Becker on the wing. I'd like him as a left back. You've got to just take it with a pinch of salt. For me, to be fair to him, he's not bad. In terms of right back, I do think there is better. Obviously, he is a good right back, but I feel like as what I kind of want from a right back, there is a little bit better out there. Baresi, nice card, 95 rated. Obviously, a decent upgrade from his Trophy Titans to this 95 version now. And I do think he was an S tier for quite some time, but now we're starting to really see the proper S tiers coming through. He is sitting just below in that A+ for me. Becker was fantastic. If you've used any of the centre-backs that have been changed during Shapeshifter, they are beautiful. I think he is absolutely class. And also, Guendouzi, another absolutely cracking one. Wasn't as impressed from Giroud personally. I thought he was decent, but definitely not at the level of what we're seeing from these two. So he's going to go down in that A+ for me as well. We then have a look around, have a little scout at a few players. Kim Min-jae, I'd personally go in the kind of bottom version now. I'd say Bremer, in terms of another Serie A, is kind of a little bit above him in that sort of aspect. Danilo is going to go there. David Garcia, getting rid of a lot of these A's quite quickly. And I've just noticed one that's popped up, Martinez. I love what they've done with the goalkeepers. I think I saw a graphic on Twitter that there's only 3 positions left and you can make a full outfield goalkeeper team. It's a shame that obviously Shapeshifter, I believe, is coming to an end this week, and it'd be very interesting to see if we get footies next, but it would have been really nice to have been able to outfield 11 goalkeepers, but we won't get that now. I can imagine I've not seen any more leaks as of yet. I'd like to tell you about skycoach.gg. They offer many features within the FIFA franchise, from FIFA coins to FIFA Weekend League boosts, from trusted sellers, pro players, and are the best prices on the market currently. They have fast delivery, high quality services, lots of games, and also a cashback program. The more coins you buy, the more eligible you are for cashback options. So if you want to buy FIFA coins at the best price, click the link in the description of this video. It will be active promo code for 10% discount from my subscribers. All you have to use is the code JT11 at the checkout to receive this bonus. On to the video. We then have Mbemba as the FUT Champs objective during Ligue 1. Unfortunately, I feel like him and Openda were done dirty. It was nice, it was a lovely objective to try and do, and it was something different. You got cards that were very, very exclusive, and Mbemba was one of the easier ones to get compared to Openda, but I just think that they really went too over the board for it. So for me, I think the Players A could have been a little bit better, but unfortunately, he is going to sit in that A. Same as the two Herreros. Nice in the shapeshifter icon, like quite a lot of them. In terms of the defenders, I'm not massively pleased by them. I feel like, again, they've they've took a centre back and put him as a left back, right back. It just is what it is, but for me, I think he is very, very standard. He dropped down in price pretty much instantly. We then have Laporte. Absolutely love Laporte. He could be argued it might be a bit of bias from me having in the team for so long, but he was well, is he? No, in fact, yeah, A+ is probably better, because I think what we're going to be seeing in this S is going to be some absolutely hard hitters. If obviously I'm thinking later on we'll go through the list and make sure that we have really put everybody down in that right list. Right back, Hakimi's obviously going in that S, no doubts about him. Shame that he didn't obviously get a team of the season, but still absolutely class in that team of the year version. Now, just because I want to put one person in that S+ already, one of the better defenders, and I think there's two that are right next to each other in terms of what I consider the best, even still to this day, is one of them is going to be Maldini, 95 rated. He is still, and is always will be, one of my, if not favourite centre-backs in the game. He lasts the literal time. Even when we just got a moments version, even the Prime is still one of the best. And I think a great addition to this year, Lucio. He is everywhere. Absolutely balling beyond belief. And them, for me, just stapled two centre-backs that A, have lasted so long, and B, most of their versions have been incredible. Lucio from the very start, Maldini is a left-back that could go centre-back. They are incredible throughout the year. So for me, them two have definitely put a staple on FIFA 23, and I think a lot of people could agree that they are two of the best centre-backs in the game. We will get to the rest soon, but obviously we don't want to put them all in straight away. Capdevia, another great one for me. Stunning left-back. Obviously was great from his World Cup. Didn't really have too much to do with his normal heroes, but obviously the fantasy foot has come in absolutely clutch. We then have Baude. Again, solid left back, nothing too crazy from him. Obviously, I'm going to go A+ with him. Chiellini, unfortunately, the MLS has just not done him right. I feel like if we got a Serie A Juventus Chiellini 94-95, may have been a different story, but obviously some people do just have to go downhill at some point. Cancelo, very much like Balde now. I feel like, again, if Man City still had him, then he would be most definitely in the S category quite easily. Obviously, he didn't get a team of the season, and he hasn't got anything else as of yet, so it will be down to the footage version, if anything at all. Grimaldo, solid as well. A+ is an easy one there. Gaia. To be fair, Gaia, again, in terms of Spanish left-backs, I'd probably prefer Balde. I'd more than likely prefer Grimaldo as well. He's just not quite hitting it for me. Nuno Mendes, another great left-back. I feel like there's a few. You've obviously got Nuno Mendes, Alphonso Davies. I did see another one. Ashley Cole is kind of more A+ in my opinion. We then have, I swear I saw another left-back, Theo Hernandez. And I want to say, Robertson, He's good, but is he that level? I feel like for me, he probably sits in the A+, rather than necessarily in that top category. Jordi Alba was another one. Thorgan Hazard, again, nice little link, but I don't think he's really in that top category for me. Guerrero's a hard one. I do think in terms of him as himself, is 100% an S, but it's for centre mid. Whether it's for left back, if obviously you're listening to this and you don't just skip to the end and see him at the bottom. But I do think in terms of a left back, he's down here in the A+. As a centre mid, you're looking S all day long. And I'm trying to think, have we got any more left backs that I'm missing out here? Because I feel like we will go for this top spot. We've obviously got Wagner. He's just absolutely average as anything. Zinchenko, we'll get to him in a second. Toko Ekambi, we'll put him up there as well, just because I know how good he is as well. And I think that is all of the left backs that I can see so far. Going through the list, obviously we've got Roberto Carlos, and I think, are we all there? I think we're golden. We're golden. So, one of these has to be one of the top. So, we have got Toko Ekambi. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Roberto Carlos is still incredible, but not number one. Now, for me, there is, I would say, two options here. You've got Theo, you've got Alphonso. I think for me, them two have got the best in-game ability. Nuno Mendes is very close, and I do think Jordi Alba at his peak is absolutely brilliant. I do think the upgrade has really helped him to that 95. I feel like Toko's probably just sitting in the S, very much like Roberto Carlos. Very consistent, very good in the game. But I would always personally go with Theo as my left back. Team of the year, team of the season. He has been exceptional. Another person that's been exceptional, I love Di Lorenzo. I think he is absolutely class. A brilliant right back. Very quick on that acceleration. Good defensive mentality. Can do a bit up and down the wing, but most definitely for me, the right back up to halfway line. Maybe, like I said, takes a couple of steps, get a pass in. Very good, but I wouldn't say he's necessarily my top right back. Obviously, then we have Bellerin. Another standard one. I like him. Good pace. Obviously, the defending and physical have been upgraded, which is always nice. But he isn't quite in that top level for me yet. And I think, was he an objective or an SB? He was one of them. He was an objective or an SBC that you could get done. Frimpong, again, is another standard one that everybody loves. To be honest, Frimpong is massively on that pace value, which I still think as a right wing back always works. Same with Reece James. For me, I do think if I'm really being brutal with him, I think in terms of Prem right wing backs, because obviously Walker hasn't had the upgrade, I do think that he is the best. We have got Trippier somewhere, and I do think he's nice, but he's not quite the level of James in my opinion. So Trippier more than likely would go underneath. Klaus, another great one. Obviously very heavy on that pace, but I don't think he has that ability like what Frimpong has in terms of a right wing back. We then have Blanc, very much like Baresi. I do think in terms of when he came out, absolutely brilliant. He's the best Blanc card. I've always liked the Prime Blanc. I do think now we've started to lower the values, especially when we're looking at centre-backs with 90 pace, 95 pace, 94 defending. It's going to be very hard to compete with without another upgrade. And whether we see Footy's icons, Footy's heroes to finish off the game, it would be a nice kind of ending to really see a lot of these icons hit the heights of 97, 98. Whether, again, we get the license for that, it will be very interesting. Bonucci, standard as you like. Love the SBC. Glad that it is still there. If you obviously wanted to make a retro team, you wanted to get a past and present Juventus, a past and present Italian, then obviously a great upgrade during the Trophy Titans SBC. Rio, very standard as well. I'm kind of in the middle between him. I feel like he is better than Baresi and Blanc, but is he as good as a lot of these centre-backs? Would I prefer him over or with Arejo as well? Good pace, obviously physical defending's already up there, which is good. I'm going to go an A+ now. I'm going to be realistic with it. Coman is easy there. Just going to slot him in. Personally, Lahm as well. Again, like Guerrero, I prefer him in that CDM role. It just works better. Very much Conte vibes. Smaller player. Great physicals normally. And obviously the defending and tackling is fantastic. Now, it's a very interesting one with all of the right backs. Like we discussed, I think Trippier more than likely sits underneath James. Very close to being next to him. But I do think in terms of what we can see as right backs, I don't think he's on the level. He's just a nice upgraded card, but nothing too crazy to share with the group. We have Navas, lovely free card, obviously from the season objective. We then have Orsolini, we'll just whack there for a moment. We have Tavernier, very standard, nothing too crazy from him this year. Molina, again, is very standard. We'll go here for the moment. We'll also take Montiel there. We've obviously got, well, I personally put Carlos Alberto in the centre-back role, so we'll keep him out. Cafu, and I think we've got one or two more right-backs that I've seen somewhere. We obviously have a lot of centre-backs to go through still. Riquelme, easy. Then obviously we've got a few. We've got Zaha. Okay, so we've got the right-backs here. One of them has got to be top level. Let's zoom out a little bit more. We'll go like that, and hopefully we shouldn't see too much of that list. Perfect. So in terms of right backs then, Cafu is obviously in that S. We've got Orsolini, I absolutely loved as a right back. Very good in terms of a change position. He is definitely one of them cards that you've just got to get used to. In terms of right backs, I don't think there's a standout this year. Whereas we've got left backs, I do think Theo, Alfonso, even to the extent Nuno Mendes and Alba, stand out amongst the rest. You've got centre-backs, Maldini, Lucio. You're looking at De Ligt, Van Dijk, Varane. They all stand out compared to your I'm trying to think who's got the list. Romagnoli, Saliba, Slotterbeck. Even Saliba's not terrible. Even then your Smallings, your Todibos. You can identify at least 4 to 5 players that are the top of the top. And then it's down to your opinion to change it. Obviously with right backs, you've got some nice ones. But I don't think there's one where I'm like, everybody has this specific one. They all change. There's a lot of Navas's, there's a lot of Carfus, there's a lot of Zaha's at this point, obviously changing him out for the moment. I don't think there's a standard top right back in my opinion. Let me know down below if you have that opinion that there is a right back that you choose every day of the week basically. If I'm going to pick one for this tier list, obviously in this S+, I've not got too many minds up at the moment. I'm thinking we either go, it's one of these 3. I'm just trying to think, am I being too harsh with these? Zaha's good, but again, I don't feel like he's got that right back ability. I do think he is so much better as the winger in any version. Molina's nice, but he's very standard. Same with Montiel. They're both very, very standard. I never noticed anything, even in the La Liga Cup, where I'm like, yeah, these cards need to be in the team. So I think for me, it's going to be out of these 3. I was very impressed with Di Lorenzo. I do think he is a solid right back. I personally use Carfu at the moment, but that is personally for the fact I've got obviously Frimpong and Di Lorenzo, but they are both in obviously the different leagues that I play with. You do have Hakimi as well though. That is a great shout. He is normally absolutely fantastic. If I'm going for my list, I'm going to go for the surprise. I'm going to go Di Lorenzo. Again, people may change that. I feel like right back's such a hard position for everybody to have that same opinion. Like I said, if you've got one, let me know down below. And now we've got the centre-backs to really wrap through it. They are the first 4 of my S+. We have one more centre-back left that can go in there. We have a lot of kind of players going on here. I personally love Carlos Alberto. Desai, standard, obviously managed to get a season objective from him, but I don't feel like he's quite in that top category anymore, in my opinion. I'd say Cuadrado, as a right mid, he is fantastic. As a right back, I'm going to go in the A+. The pace is too much to say that he's an A. We then have a standard Dutch centre-back from the Bundesliga year in review. In terms of the Dutch Eredivisie, I think he was nice, to be fair. Kimpembe's definitely dropped. I don't know what it is, if it was just the sheer amount of centre-backs we've got now. I just don't feel the relevancy anymore. Marquinhos, very, very good in that S all day long. Otamendi was standard, nothing too crazy. Ramos is obviously an S. Really enjoyed Sorloth, actually. Very, very good SBC. If you've not done him, give him a try if he's still there. I don't know how many days he's got left, but most definitely a great centre-back in that change of position. Schlotterbeck is as standard as they come. I'd say even Koulibaly, to be honest now, is pretty much done. Wasn't a massive fan of Lacroix. Didn't think that he had anything in him, really. He was kind of that mean player at the start of the year, and now he's just kind of fallen off. So we then go down the list. We've got Vidic. Ooh, Vidic is absolutely superb. Zanetti's A+ at a best. Again, very much like Lahm. Love him in a CDM. As a right back, not that pretty. Vidic is very good, but I'd probably say he's dropped down a tier now, in my opinion. We have Traore as a right back. Actually, one that I missed, in fact. I thought he was a centre back for some reason. I'd still go AS. I believe that was my last opinion on him as well. Romagnoli, standard as you like, nothing too crazy. Medina was great for the price. I don't know if I could put him in S purely for the fact that he is very efficient for the price. So A+ is definitely a way to go with him. I'd say Nesta's definitely up there as well. We have then got Skriniar. I'd say absolutely solid defending, but could do with the upgrade now. Todibo, ooh, I only used him a handful of times as well. I'm going to go A with him just purely from the fact that when I did use him throughout the week for the Liga and Cup, it was mainly Marquinhos that was saving me. And again, comparisons are a bliss of the past. We've got Smalling as A+, Tomori is S any day of the week. Same with Saliba, loved him as a centre-back. We then have Okocha. Again, I love all of the keepers. The keepers are out of position. They've all been upgraded perfectly. They are fun to use. They're different. They may drop down soon enough. It might be that they've had a cheeky little boost. Who knows? We can never prove that. But it would suggest something, because Neuer was scoring bangers. We then have Bravo on the wing, who is absolute lightning. The centre-backs are stunning. They're versatile. They've got the passing. They've got the dribbling. Everything seems too good with them. So, and even Czech scoring incredible goals I've seen across the reviews of him. They're all good. So, to me, I think there's definitely a little thing in that. You don't just suddenly get players out of position and every single one of them is fantastic. I don't know. I'd just give it a week and see what they're like. Mitrovic, standard, I would say A+. I think Becker and also, who was my other centre-back? It was Sorloth, Guendouzi and Martinez are that little bit better in my opinion. Koyunde, loved him as a centre-back. Very good pace. I do think the defensiveness of him, there is obviously arguments that your Marquez's, your Marquinhos's are better in that aspect, but I do think the pace really helps carry him, in my opinion. We then have Petit. I thought standard, to be honest. I really was expecting so much better from him. Even his cam version, it just doesn't fill me with that extra bit like I need to go get this guy. We then have Marquez. I still think he's absolutely solid. If you've got him in that defensive role next to someone very pacey, for instance like a Koyunde, his defensive actual tackling is spot on. Absolutely spot on. And then we have the final five. One of these is my third favourite defender, with obviously Virgil van Dijk. Normally, I would say he is number 3. I do think there's one person that's definitely stood out. After the last tier list, a lot of people got on to me about him, and honestly, I went and used him. I thought, I've got to use him because I've either got a really lapse of judgment of what he's like, or I've just not used him in the right way. So Virgil's going in the S. Ruben Diaz has been solid in the team. Absolutely brilliant. Obviously, a lot of Prem players have gone into the team since that team of the season, and he has absolutely stayed the time. We then have Varane, who I always absolutely adore. I think he is absolutely stunning. He is 100% an S category. If he did manage to get a little bit more of an upgrade into Diaz's level, I don't think there'd be another defender that I'd choose any day of the week. Militao, again, in my team, he is incredible, and that means De Ligt has made it into that S+. So if we're looking as a back 5, that personally would be my favourite. Obviously, it all depends on what you're looking at and what you kind of want for your team. Let's move myself a little bit smaller. That is my list. Let me know down below if you enjoyed it, and also, do you agree with it? If there's any players out there that, like I said, you think are better than what I've shown here, let me know down below. It is all opinion based. Apart from that, make sure you do like and subscribe, check the video on screen, and I'll catch you all next week for the next tier list. Peace.